Kaminsky checking in here in Manhattan Beach, California. We're with Geoff from A-1 Bonded to learn a little bit more about pests and termites. So we're here in Manhattan Beach, California at our latest upcoming listing, Geoff. I brought a list of questions that our customers always like to ask about termites.
Okay.
I know we call them termite inspections, but I often hear you call it a pest inspection. What is the difference?
Basically, we're looking for any kind of wood-destroying pest or organism. A wood-destroying pest would be like a termite, carpenter bees, beetles, things like that. But then we also deal with funguses, which also damage the wood.
Okay.
So that would be our organisms.
Right.
So basically, those are the two main things that we're looking for in our inspections.
So fungus, when you say fungus, what's the most common fungus that would be getting a house?
People refer to it as fungus and dry rot.
Right.
Fungus is when it's actively growing. We're going to call it dry rot when it's dormant, but yet the damage is there.
And this is always a fun thing to come up, but use this big poker stick, right?
Right.
So is it damaging the house? I know sellers are always concerned, what are they doing to my house?
Right.
I mean, give me the story behind the stick.
Well, we call it as a probe. And basically, when we do an inspection on a property, we're not going to use that stick and bang every part of the house.
Okay.
What we're looking for is areas where we maybe see a little bit of blistering paint, maybe kick out where the termites are actually pushing pellets out. And the reason we're using that stick is to see the extent of the damage. Whether it can be repaired with maybe just a wood filler or a Bondo, something like that, or if it's damaged enough to where we actually have to replace it.
Okay.
So just by visually looking at it, we can't really tell if it needs to be replaced or repaired. So by us picking at it, we know how bad the damage is and what we need to do to repair it.
So what do we got here, Geoff?
Well, we got a little bit of dry rot in the corner of this fascia board. Here's my stick that we were talking about.
Yeah.
With this stick, I'm able to see that this is pretty rotted out on the corner. And being that it's dry rot, we don't have an option of repairing this. Because that's a fungus and that's growing, it's very difficult to kill it once it gets to this stage.
When do you recommend tenting on the property?
Well, basically, it's not really a judgment call on that. There's laws that we've got to follow when we're doing a termite inspection by the state. And basically, anytime a termite infestation extends into an inaccessible area, by law, we're supposed to recommend a fumigation.
So what determines it inaccessible?
Well, basically, like say for instance, we're inside of the home and we're finding termite droppings falling down on a windowsill.
Right.
Coming from above the window, so possibly they're in the header, maybe they're in the cripples above the header, or maybe even the upper plate. We don't know. That's coming out of a wall. That's considered an inaccessible area because we can't see exactly where it starts and where it stops.
Okay.
Other areas would be like maybe a rafter tail on the outside of the house. If it's extending above past the wall, okay, so it could be in the plates and going down the studs, considered an inaccessible area.
So you don't really recommend tenting every single time?
No.
No.
No, it's basically what's there on the property. The property dictates what needs to be done to the property.
Gotcha.
It's just a matter of if we can see where it starts and where it stops, it's a local treatment. Say for instance a patio post, possibly a rafter in a garage because it's all exposed, the wall on the inside is exposed, we can see where it goes, where it stops, things like that, not a problem. We can locally treat those areas.
We're in the garage. What are you looking for in the garage?
Basically, we're in the garage. We're looking at the open studs, rafters, things like that. Looking for termite droppings and things like that on top of the plates, blocks, things like that. We get a little view of the foundation here. This has a little bit of storage. We'll be looking for subterranean termite tubes coming up the walls, things like that. And another thing that we look for a lot are these tags. These tags up here, that's a fumigation tag, and that kind of gives us a history of what's gone on in the property.
Gotcha. So
according to that fumigation tag, this house was fumigated in 1999.
So 99, 2009, that's what, 16 years ago?
That's quite a while for this house.
So how often do you really recommend it gets tented?
Depending on the roof, but really between 8 and 10 years down at the beach.
That often?
Yeah. There's a lot of activity down here.
So my house has termites. Should I be concerned? Majorly concerned, minorly concerned? I mean, if I'm a buyer, I'm a seller. I mean, how concerned should I be?
I mean, termites can do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And especially if you're moving into a new home, I would think you'd want it termite free. That way, that's something you don't have to worry about for a few years down the road.
Right.
Possibly have it looked at every couple of years just to stay on top of it.
Okay.
Avoid a lot of damage down the road.
Besides termites, what's the most common secondary pest?
With the inspections that we do, it's mostly fungus. Fungus and dry rot. That's the most common. You know, everybody's got exposed patio covers, things like that, where the water really gets to them. Those are usually the first things that are going to rot out. As far as they're getting wet all the time, that fungus is growing, stuff needs to be replaced.
Quickly explain the difference between drywood termites and subterranean termites.
The drywood termites are going to live directly in the wood. So basically, if they're, say, in a rafter or stud, whatever, door sill, that's where they live. So that If you fumigate, treat it, that takes care of that board. The subterranean termites, they come from the soil. So they can come up at any time because there are different colonies all over the place.
Across the U.S., because different people watch these videos, is termites more common here in Southern California because we're in a sandy soil and less in, let's say, Michigan, where with the winter potentially kills them? And I'm not sure on that answer.
Well, the subterranean termites are pretty much all across the United States.
Okay.
The drywood termites, we're going to deal with those along our coastal communities. So we've got them in California, you're going to have them in Texas, Louisiana, into Florida. They need more of a humid area to live.
Got it.
If you get into the deserts, you're not going to find the drywood termites, but you will find the subterranean termites.
So Geoff, we're in a different corner. This is another corner, but it looks different.
This is drywood termite damage in the corner of this fascia board. If you can see up in there, there's a lot of channels, and if you see the talon of the pellets that come flying out of there,
yeah,
it's the fecal pellets from the termites. Again, this is another corner. When these boards went together, I'm sure these corners weren't painted. When the termites swarm, they find that empty on the surface, and that's how they get in, and that's how they started.
Thanks for watching. It's Ed Kaminsky. We're checking out here in Manhattan Beach, California. You have a great day. We'll see you around soon.